I want to also clarify something so that we don't end up with just one-sided perspective of it. So we don't just end up with this like, oh, being clueless apparently is being creative. I've never said that. Or apparently completely not knowing what one wants, where the one is coming or going, is equivalent of being and living creative life. No, no. The very opposite. The very opposite. It's a difference between being faced with white canvas before the first mark is being put on it, and knowing what one wants in life and from life. And the difference is massive. One may not know exactly how one will paint the next picture. And that's the thrill of it. But there is clarity as far as one's intention. So this is what I'd like to make sure that we do not mix apples and pears and kind of start to have maybe overly generalized ideas. It's great to have clarity about one's life's goals, one's life's ambitions, one's life's purpose, what one wants from life for oneself, because it starts from there, proceeds from there. One needs to be like an archer, not shooting left, right, and center, hoping that some arrows would land somewhere when it means something. No, the art of archery has a target. The whole point of art of archery is to hit the target. And even within that target, there is the heart of the target that part aims at. And it is very important that one has that clarity. Then one can afford those areas of uncertainty. One can welcome these phases of not knowing, because the target is there, the goal is set. One is not compromising, one is not settling for the trivial, trifle ideas and goals. So therefore, always set your goals high as you possibly could. And what does it mean? It means doing what you love doing. Doesn't matter what the rest of the world maybe tell us at this very moment. Doesn't mean that you would not be at times pushed towards compromises. Everyone will. But unless we have this audacity, unless we have that courage, sheer courage, to have that I will be doing what I love doing most. This is my unwavering intention. One will always be led astray. One will always be led by circumstances. And one way or another, one's freedom would always be dependent upon others' wishes and whims. This is what it truly means to live a creative life, is to have that highest possible goal for oneself. And that's what it means to be individual, truly. Because our individuality, before it has the chance to blossom, is often being molded into adherence to the collective notion of good. It's something that is literally reshapes before it even has the chance to fully open up and savor itself for what it is. So therefore, in our previous gathering here, just a few weeks before this one, earlier in June, we picked that theme of identity, what to identify with, what to disidentify with, and the place and role of individuality here, because individuality and identity are inseparable. So the creativity here and a true sense of one's individuality are inseparable. One cannot create truly unless one is in a full possession of one's individuality. One merely imitate, mimic, endlessly trying to be someone, something. It's the recognition of the inherent value, where the sense of preciousness, the value, is not measured by the standard, some kind of blueprint. For a true artist, every single flower has beauty, and there is no hierarchy which flower is the most excellent. Maybe someone's preference is rose because it stands in terms of its complexity, seems to be above everything else. But there are field flowers that barely being noticed, which if one opens one's eyes, can reveal astonishing level of subtlety. Which doesn't make these flowers that grow on the side of the road or somewhere in a field, barely seen by human eye, barely paid attention to, trampled on. So this, I'd like to point out so as to complement what we spoke when we spoke about that not knowing, temporarily being in a place of uncertainty, being faced with that sense of trepidation in the face of white surface of what yet to come. For that, some great minds of the past have had great suggestions. So well before someone like Max Ernst or lesser known artist from Poland, Alfred Linica, have come up with these techniques of dipping the surfaces and pressing them on the canvas or wherever happened to be painting in motion. Leonardo da Vinci already advised young painters to develop the imagination by dipping a cloth in a bucket of paint and throwing it on the wall. And whatever marks left will reveal infinite variety of spontaneously left marks, to wonder at what these marks reveal. And the whole world can open up there in those unimitable, unrepeatable patterns left from a cloth soaked in some paint. It was an exercise. I'm speaking now from the tractate on painting by great Leonardo. You don't know what to paint. That's what Leonardo had. Dip that cloth, scrambled and against the wall, and see what comes out of that. That extraordinary mess. There is something precious already printed. All you need to do is to recognize the things of shapes to come. And this metaphor can be made relevant to many situations. Sometimes all it takes is the first step. But there has to be this unwavering intention to promise oneself that one would do what one loves doing. And then see how the universe will respond to that genuine desire. But if it's not there, we cannot complain that we are doing something else in life whilst we prefer doing something else. Because that's not true. And I thought that brings greater clarity to this what we have somehow set to discuss, and I'm happy to continue in our further exchanges.